They've been handling it so well. Hey guys, hey out there. We're about to go live here, and we wanted to bring you already into the studio. I hope you are well. We've got Cedric over here as well. We just on airtime right now. We want to bring you on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I hope you can hear us well. We are so excited. Listen, for our monthly radio show, we're on air on WMBM. So if you want to watch us here on Facebook Live, if you want to watch us, of course, on our YouTube channel, you can join us there as well. But we just give us a few minutes to go right into the intro, and we'll get ready to get started. Miss Sears is here. How are you, Cedric? All right, guys. So we're in the pre-show. We have a guest already in the studio. So for those of you who are watching us live on Facebook, watching us on YouTube, we welcome you. We're just going through the radio break right now, and then we'll get started so that the radio audience for 1490 can hear us at the same time. All right. All right, Cedric, you've been all right?
Mhm.
All right. Say that again. I'll bring you back on. I'll bring you back. It keeps knocking you out. All right.
I got a black screen.
Put your Mm-mm-mm. All right, Miss Sears, you're well?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. We're just going through the radio broadcast. Well, it's so good to see you. Listen, I know you have. I don't want to talk too much, because I'll jump right into what we're talking about. So we're gonna go through our intro, talk a little bit, and then we're gonna bring you back into the studio. Okay? We'll bring you
Okay,
back in. So you got a few minutes. Okay?
not a problem.
Okay. All right, guys. Let me see you out here. For those of you who are watching out there, let me see your comments. Let me know that you're there. Let me see you out there. My eyelashes ain't working with a sister today. Y'all see them today? They waving at y'all. For those of you who are in our watching audience, let me get a few comments from you. Let me see that you're there. Mm-mm. All right, guys, we're gonna go. We're gonna put our banners up. We'll be back in one moment. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome to Miami Children's Initiative monthly radio show. We're coming to you with a special edition today. We're coming to you on a Wednesday as opposed to a Tuesday, because yesterday was a very, very special day. It was a very, very special event. And so because of that, we know that we have traditionally we have Bishop Curry over the years. We've had Bishop Curry for a number of years to host one day just full of with elections to completely host this day of elections. And so we didn't want to invade that. We didn't want to break the tradition. And so yesterday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Bishop Curry and his staff was here giving us real up-to-date, up-to-the-minute election details and encouraging everyone to get out. So we're coming to you today on a Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month, but we will return on next month with our annual, our monthly show. But listen, of course, you know, I've got my co-host who's always in the studio. He's with us. You'll have to hear him verbally until we can bring him on screen. But welcome, Mr. Cedric.
Welcome. Good afternoon. How are you?
Listen, we're excited and glad. Listen, I'm a little bit sleepy. I must admit, I'm a little sleepy because I was up most of the night watching bit by bit, moment by moment. Yes. Oh my goodness. And so I had a little bit of anxiety, I must admit. I made up my mind that I would do something that I love. And I absolutely love in basketball. And so to kind of pull away from all of that, I decided to, do I need to hold the mic? All right, guys, I'm holding the mic this time. Listen. Sister girl on the mic today, right? Go, Whitney. I will always love you. All right, guys, I'm holding the mic. All right. And so listen, so I watched a little bit of Love and Basketball to kind of get my mind off it. But listen, it was an intense battle. It was and it's still going on, right? But listen, we've got some landmarks. I got to open this show because yesterday I was on MBM here with Bishop Curry. And yesterday I just had to come in and encourage and motivate the younger voters. Listen, don't get to the finish line and quit. Don't get right there, because many of them were saying that they weren't going to vote because it was the lesser of two evils. And why should I do that? And why should I, what should be happening? And they said, well, I came out just to encourage them. But listen, I got to say, Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County, y'all showed up and showed out. Listen, you guys showed up in record numbers with early voting. Listen, we are just so excited about what they did. Now, we can't compete with what the rest of the state did. However, we can say that we are happy that they heard the call. I mean, we were in the beginning of the month running hard with doing voter registrations. Talk to us, man.
Yeah, so we did the voter registration. We had the what was the event at the Caleb Center where we had the parade with the Circular Brotherhood?
Yes.
We had Super Cindy come by from 99 Jams. We had all
that was National Early Voter Day. Yes. And so we did all of that. And then listen, I am so proud with early voting, they were able to bring it in. But listen, I can't talk about politics in Miami. I can't talk about Liberty City without bringing on our first guest. Let me tell you something. This young lady, Miss Tangela Sears, listen, putting shoe leather on the road to make things happen, to run, to ensure that the information in our community gets out. She is top notch. She has been an advocate for those who are voiceless. She's been a fearless fighter. She will share I will hope she will share with us some new things that she, not by choice, but by life, she was forced to make some decisions, but she didn't let a hard hit in life cause her to sit down and shut down. But she used that to galvanize others. And so it is my distinct pleasure, Mr. Cedric Dawkins, to bring on somebody I've been wanting to bring on MCI Live for quite some time. Guys out there who's watching, would you please welcome Miss Tangela Sears, honey? Hello, Miss Tangela. Welcome to MCI Live. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me today. I'm glad to be a part of your show finally.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know how I got caught up the day after the election, but we're going to have to do this another day as well when I got a lot of energy because I am drained.
I can only imagine. Listen, Danielle Levine Carver brought it home to us last night, honey.
Yes,
so listen, and we know that you were hot on the trail with her and so many others. But so talk to us a little bit. I know you're tired. You spent most of the night and you have run hard for this community to make sure that things and information was done. So talk to us a little bit about last night and what you're feeling this morning. And then I want to talk to Tangela. Yeah, you're the political consultant. Yeah, you're the go-to for our community. However, I need to know about Tangela. So talk to me a little bit in the beginning about, what last night meant. And then you can talk to us then a little bit about just about you.
When it comes to local elections, I think we had a great night last night. Listen, we got Rodney Harris in as the Miami Gardens mayor now. We have 3 great young men that's on the county commission now that will be sworn in November 17th. We got Kava in, our first female mayor of Miami-Dade County. So we made history with that. And yes, it took a lot of work, and I had a large team out there that was on the ground, and it took everybody to get out there and not touch people like myself and you and others that's engaged and involved. We had to get out there to the streets to touch those that don't have interest in the process. We had to get out there in the streets and touch those that's on the corners but still eligible to vote. We had to get out there and make sure that we dealt with our neighbors that don't have the interest that you and I may have.
Tangela, I have to stop you just one moment. So you might be in an environment that you need a mask, but it's muffling your voice, and they want to hear you in radio land.
Let me send them out. So
okay,
yeah, because I had on a mask because someone was in here.
Someone, and yes, and we want what you're saying. You need to be heard, honey. We need to hear you.
Okay. What I was saying was we made history last night.
Yes.
Yeah, we made history with Rodney Harris becoming the 3rd mayor of Miami Gardens. We have made history with 3 great young Black men becoming county commissioners.
Isn't that amazing?
On the 17th. We made history with Chevron Jones as our first open gay senator, where people received and supported him and placed him there because we know that he can do the job.
He can do the job.
We made history with Kava Levine, being our first female mayor here in Miami-Dade County. And I had a whole team, so it's not just me because I can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
But my team didn't touch people like me and you. That was up watching CNN last night at 3 o'clock in the morning. Those not the people that we go after. We go after my neighbors that don't have interest in watching CNN.
Yes.
We go after the guys that's on the corners at the stores that's eligible to vote, but don't have interest. We go out there to the community just to reach those that don't have interest in the process to try to get them to the polls.
Right.
We go out and we flush the community. We flush the neighborhoods. And that's what we did. And we did it for the Biden campaign as well. But in politics, though, sometimes in order to reach those at the ground, we have to be careful who's advising our elected officials so that they can reach the people that we out there trying to reach. And
there you go.
Give hope based on what they're saying, because there's a difference in 2020 than it was in 1990 or 2000. When we had leadership that people followed. This generation, older people that don't have interest, they don't follow anyone anymore today. So that candidate have to be able to talk about what they're going to do and allow us to go out there and make sure that the people know and believe what they're going to do. And that means putting people on the ground that they're familiar with a lot of times.
So Tangela, I think you speak to a population that often is forgotten and can be deciding factors, right? And often, as you suggest, they feel disenfranchised, disillusioned with what has happened. And it's so important to have people like you who understand the community to which they are trying to go after and who have a sensitivity to know how to get on the streets and speak their language. When I just need you to lean in a little bit closer to your mic. But Tangela, what motivated you in political consulting? And what are your home roots? Is Miami home for you? And I know, so we already kind of know that, but
Miami is the only place that I know. I don't know no other place. I've been in New York. That's where I gave birth to my son. I was in Atlanta a little while after I graduated and went to school there. But Miami is my home. And I grew up under a lot of our older politicians, Carrie Meek, Bill Turner,
yeah.
Alex Grange. I watched them. I learned from them. I worked in a political office before. My mother was engaged with the process.
And could sing, honey. Not only did your mama did she work for the community, she could sing us under a pew, honey.
Well, all that is when I was engaged, because I was made to be engaged, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
But
when mama make you do it, you don't want to do it, right?
I end up in it anyway. And so my heart is for the people. I've gone through several tragedies in my life with my mom and with my son. And losing my grandmother was very difficult for me. And helping people and being engaged in the community is what helps me get through the pain and the suffering that I actually deal with daily.
And
in fact, during the primaries, I did Alex Pinellas's campaign.
Okay.
And
that was a woe for us because many of us loved Alex and understood Alex. So that was a woe for us. But wow, look at what came out of that, right? History making.
I called myself, because I worked hard from morning to night. My body was tired. So I called myself getting ready to take a break before I go into the next. I was hearing from Bobo and Kava. But in taking the break, I went into a depression.
Okay.
So that's why I stay busy. I keep myself busy. I will create things just to keep myself busy, that I don't fall into those depressions, and I'm able to be a help to others, especially other mothers that depends on me that have lost their kids in Miami-Dade County, Broward, and even other places where I get calls from mothers. I want to be able to be their strength. So staying busy is what keeps me motivated to be involved.
So Tangela, right before we go to the break, what an inspiration and motivation you are to those who are out there to recognize that, listen, I don't have to, life comes at me and it can come at me fast and it can come at me hard. But what do I do once I've been knocked down determines how I can continue to make it. And you're saying, listen, life knocked me down, but I didn't stay down. I got motivated. I got inspired to help others. And I thank you for your transparency and talking about depression, because we often don't talk about it in the Black community, but it is real. What would you say was some of the signs that you could say, especially after losing a mother, and I could only imagine losing a son, losing a child? What were some of the signs that you were depressed? For those who are watching or listening who may just think that this is their norm, how did you know that you were depressed?
I worked for the Department of Children and Families for many years, so I understood the signs of depression. Sleeping, just wanting to lay down, not wanting to talk to anyone, not eating, not wanting to deal with family, ignoring friends. Sometimes you may feel like I'm just tired and want to rest, but a lot of that is signs of depression.
Wow. How eye-opening. And right before we go to the break, talk to us about being the founder of Parents of Murdered Children. Talk to us, and then we'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about that after the break.
When I lost my son to gun violence, I was already involved in the court process. I had already dealt with a lot of families. But in losing my son is when I really began to understand exactly what they was going through. And for 3 or 4 months, I didn't want to do anything. And I became a very angry individual. I was not easy to deal with. And my family, I was very mean towards them and anyone close to me. I even began to threaten people. And I talk about it now. I didn't talk about it before. Kathy Rundle had me placed into a program. And
Wow.
I was angry with her. I was angry with my family. It was through that program where I decided I wanted to start Parents of Murdered Children. So today I thank them
Yeah.
for, because I didn't know what I was, dealing with, but they knew I needed help.
That was real intervention, and that's one of the things that we have to recognize, that friends aren't the ones who always pat you on the back and always rah-rah. They're the
Oh,
ones who are willing to get in the trenches and say you wrong. I told some one time, someone told me, nobody, LaTousha, talks to me the way you talk to me. I said, well, you don't have real friends, because when people really love you, there, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now, sometimes you got to be a little rough around the collars and just keep it, just keep it 100. But when you are saying it out of love, people feel that. They may be angry with you for that, but they feel that. And so she was truly loving on you, and how stellar of someone like a Kathy Rundle, who we see maybe in our community is a little cold and isolated because she's on the other side of being that prosecutor, right? But to know how human she is, that she would love you to say, look, girl, I got to intervene. That's amazing to
you're
hear.
right, because I think I called her every name in the book that day.
You called her Bathsheba. You called her Mary, Martha. That's who you.
And even my goddad, Victor Curry, they all supported what she was doing to get me the help that I needed. And while I was locked into the program, for my depression, mental health that I was going through, there was a mother screaming on the TV because she had lost her kid. And that's when it dropped in my spirit. And that's when I began to call a doctor and everyone, I need to get out. I know what I want to do now. And that was the beginning of Florida Parents of Murdered Children.
Yeah.
So you heard the cry of another mother. You heard the cry, and that's when you heard the call, we will say, of God. You heard your divine mission to hear. And that's amazing. Now listen, that's now
No,
you're gonna
what
pull on the preacher in me.
now
It's, how can they hear
really
except a preacher? And how can they precept they be sent?
what's really amazing is when I had my first meeting, I called the first meeting through Facebook. That mother that was screaming showed up.
Wow, Tangela. Wow. And it is so hard to know that ministering or serving those in the community, your call doesn't subside. It seems like as soon as you comfort one family, then you're having to comfort another. And so I would imagine you've pulled together a strong team of other mothers, who you're teaching how to give out of their grief. Share with us that. And I'm going to bring Cedric to kind of join this conversation with us. Let's see how we can bring him into this conversation. Go ahead, Miss Tangela.
Well, when I started meeting with mothers, I learned a lot because I learned that the system was not engaged with them, the community was not engaged with them, law enforcement was not engaged with them, and that's just not what a mother should experience when she loses a child. Detectives should be in the lives of parents. Advocates should be in the lives of parents. There was an
Mm-hmm.
issue with witness, and that's when I created the Witness Protection Bill to take to Tallahassee. I walked the parents through to show them. I would take them to Tallahassee, not knowing where I was going to get the money from, not knowing how I was going to get up there because we're not a 501c3. I don't get grants or anything like that. So I had to use people like Alberto Cavajo, Marella Conselio, Francis Suarez, the Bear, what's her name? Pat Faircloth, I think down in Homestead. There was various people that would put together and sponsor these parents a hotel room or
Mm-hmm.
get the van for us to travel up there. And I would walk them through the process of getting legislation changed. I would bring in law enforcement, the state attorney's office, and basically demand what they're supposed to be doing to make it happen for these parents, making sure detectives are teamed up with their parents. I have parents that have lost their kids 15 years ago, never heard from a detective. So we have to, begin to make sure all
That's
those
true advocacy, Tangela. That is someone that they can look to, someone. And then we know it sometimes things don't happen based on your case, it's based on relationships. And so, when you make it's one thing for me to make that phone call, but it's another thing for you to make that phone call. Because of the relationships that are built, they're going to respond to you quickly. You know what I'm saying? And so, what an amazing thing, but also to teach through the process of how you create legislation. Because sometimes I think people say, "Oh, I don't like how things happen," but are you a part of what's creating that change mechanism? So talk to us quickly about some of those steps again, about how you even start. If there's something that is bothering you, do you start like you did with maybe a focus group? Or talk to me about how we talk about
when,
changing
when
legislation.
I started, for weeks after weeks, I just listened to the parents. I did not deal with my situation. In listening to them, I learned what was not in place for them. And you're right. I began to contact the chiefs of police, Miami Gardens, City of Miami, Miami-Dade County, because those are the ones that have a lot of our homicide cases. So I began to deal with them directly and bringing the chiefs of police to these meetings. And it wasn't good meetings in the beginning because you got a bunch of angry moms in the room. And
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you have to fight with the system regardless of how well you may know them to demand that they get things. I want to make sure that the detectives are on the scene and making contact with the parents when
Yeah.
this is. I want to make sure an advocate is on the scene. And I can remember when the mayor of Miami-Dade County, Miami Mayor Gimenez, brought 21 additional advocates onto the police department. I would get very angry with the commissioners because they would create groups. And I felt that you had to understand the process in order to know what was needed. Because the problem lied right there in the police
Mhm.
department that was under them. But a lot of them was going around just creating these things. No, we need your investigation departments to have more money. Something I'm
Yeah.
still fighting on, and got a commitment up from the new ones that's going in there that will happen.
Amazing. Amazing.
Make sure that your advocates are making contact. So when I hear from a family now and they lost their loved one of the first things I ask them, have you heard from an advocate? It's a great feeling when they say, yes, I've heard from an advocate, because that's the way they get the resources and things they need to help them with the funerals. It's not true out there where they say, we don't get assistance. Yes, we do.
And you
But
know
it
what?
was making sure that the advocate was there to follow through, that their family did get the assistance that they need.
Tangela, you bring a very great point, because it took me becoming the CEO of the Miami Children's Initiative to find out about the state attorney advocacy component for helping with funeral assistance, right? I didn't
Now, this,
know.
that doesn't go through the state attorney advocacy. That goes through the police advocacy. Because the only time you get an advocacy in the state attorney's office is if you have an arrest. And the majority of my parents don't have an arrest. And what you've seen out here, some of the parents have created other groups where they're doing things to help other families and different things now. So much was created out of creating this program.
Especially Liberty City. So, talk to us about where we can get in contact with you better, those who have lost children, because some may feel, well, she only deals in Liberty City, or she only deals with certain segments. Let the
Mm-mm.
community know that you're countywide. Listen,
I,
they don't know you
I
statewide.
of Florida. If someone calls me from Tallahassee right now, I'm going to call a chief of police. I'm going to call their state attorney. Someone calls me from Orlando. In fact, Regina Hill is a commissioner in Orlando. When she come in contact with loved ones, she direct them to me, and she's the commissioner up there. but we
Mhm.
all work together. You see the parents down south that have created, little programs that they're educating and giving back to the community. A lot of that was birthed under starting for the parents of murdered children, where they were able to go back out and be created to help their community down in the south. And I work with
Mhm.
those parents as well. So it's Miami-Dade County Police Department homicide department deals with the entire county, with the exception of police departments that have homicides. So anybody have a problem in Miami-Dade County, they can reach me because you're dealing with the same departments that we already deal with.
Wonderful, Tangela. So thank you again. Listen, you have given up so much of your time today. Listen, even after such a hard night, after working so hard, you were willing to give back to Liberty City, our Little Miami Children's Initiative. Listen, we love you here. We are so proud of you, Tangela. I'm going to make you laugh. Now, you don't even remember me, but the first time we met, I helped you on Governor potential McBride. Do you remember? That's like almost, that's been almost 30 years.
A nightmare.
So I just want you to know I've been a supporter and a fan for a long time, and we love you. We've watched you be one of our queens of our community, to go through such public pain, public tragedy, but yet turn around and give out of that. So I salute you, my sister. I love you, and I want you to know this won't be the last time. Like you said, we'll give you time when you're refreshed. We're going to bring you back to have some moments and some time with us, just to talk with our parents, and potentially just come and talk with some of our students. Let them hear your story. Yes, ma'am.
Anytime. I love you and continue the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much, Miss Sears. All right, we've got a couple of other people in the studio. We're going to take a quick break. Miss Sears, have a great one. And again, thank you for your commitment to our community. All right, guys, listen, thank you so much for those who are watching on Facebook, those who are listening in Radio Land. We're so happy to have you here today with us. We're going to take a quick break, and after that break, we're going to come back. Yes, and after that break, we're going to come back because we've got two great people in our studio waiting. We've got Mr. Jason Jenkins, one of the VP Senior Vice Presidents of the Miami Dolphins, and we've got Mr. Roy Hawkins of the Jackson Medical Group. So we'll be right back with you on the radio. We'll take a break now. And those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, you're gonna come in to have a little house meeting with me as I kind of have a conversation a little bit with Mr. Jason Jenkins and Mr. Roy Hawkins. I just wanted to make sure the radio was muted, because while they were running the radio commercials, hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
And welcome, Roy.
Thank you.
Listen, y'all was trying to make my blood pressure. I kept saying, well, where my guests at? I don't see them. Lord Jesus, they gonna make me call on Jesus.
We're here for you. We are here for you. They told us at 25, right?
Say it again.
We're here for you. They told us the dollar that told me at 225, so I think I'm right on time.
All right. So you early. Oh, really? Just listen. All this voter stuff got a sister having anxiety, man. I ain't hear how much sleep.
It's something else.
All right, so I'm going to put you guys in the studio. I'm going to put you back in, but I wanted to greet you and say welcome to Miami Children's Initiative little radio show. So we're both simulcasting. You're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on air on the radio, and then of course we got some. We got a few nosy people on Facebook watching this right now while we talking right now, while we having our little house meeting right now.
Hello, Facebook.
Hello, Facebook land, right? And so we're going to come back out, and we're having some issues with Cedric. So I think I'm actually going to switch seats with Cedric. I think I'm going to let him handle you guys. And then I'll come in. Listen, they say, ooh. So I'll just come in and add a little female voice to it when I can. Okay, will that work?
That works for us.
All right. Let me put you back in the studio.
Okay.
Hey guys, those of you who are watching, just want you to just hang in with us. We're on radio break now, and then we'll come back with Mr. We'll come back after we just finished our community spotlight. What y'all think about Tangela? I know we had some. They were saying they were having some issues. You're gonna switch seats with me. He's gonna sit here. We were having some issues with her, but we're gonna start with Jason, right? He's ready to go back in now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Come on, bring us back. Come on, Cedric. Move. Put the earphones down, babe.
Put them
Up
on.
or down?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, you use the part two. I'm using the.
You ready?
You want to go to him? This is his room.
Yeah.
Just sat down. Just sat down.
Down.
Okay. All right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Because you live. Okay, you live, sir. Thank you. They're waiting on you. Test your mic.
Testing 1, 2, 3. They'll change the name or no? Oh, LaTousha name.
We'll take that down. Don't worry about that.
2018 50.
They want you back on those. Go ahead. It's gotta be done right. All right, guys. Moving about. But it's gonna be. Turn his mic on. I took him off. Turn his computer mic on mute. Okay. Guys, y'all see us over here having a fiasco over here. Listen, that's what happens when you are a part of the studio audience. All right, Cedric, I'm waiting on you to bring the people back.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Miami Children's Initiative MCI Community Live.
Talk to both mics, sir.
We welcome you back to MCI Community Live. We thank you for tuning in on the first half with Ms. Tangela Sears as our community spotlight. It's always a pleasure to hear from her and the great things that she's doing in the community. We now pivot to our afternoon guests. We have Mr. Jason Jenkins, who's the Senior Vice President of the Miami Dolphins, as well as Mr. Roy Hawkins, who is the CEO of Jackson Memorial Hospital North. Let's give them both a round of applause. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Let's start out with Jason. Jason is in his 12th season with the Miami Dolphins and was named Senior Vice President of Communications and Community Affairs in January of 2015. Jason oversees the organization's front-facing brands, including media outreach, public relations, digital and social media, and community efforts. Mr. Jenkins, introduce yourself and just give us a few pointers on some of the things that the Dolphins have going on right now in the community.
Well, thanks for having us today. We're very excited to be a part of this community. For us, we have this idea of football can unite and connect people. And so we have a program called Football Unites. We work with different partners in the community. Our whole idea is when, Tua throws a touchdown pass or someone comes to the game, doesn't matter your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, your identity, your ability, your faith, we can all be connected in these moments around sports. And we want to use our platform to bring about positive social change. So we do a lot of work in the community, amplifying social justice efforts, but we also try to look at it with humanity to bring organizations together around these causes that impact our community. We also have a food relief program. June 1st, our Vice Chairman Tom Garfinkel, with the support of our owner Stephen Ross, has made a commitment to feed members of our community for at least a year. And the whole idea is through COVID-19, not only helping and impact people that need help, but also providing jobs to our guest services staff, to our security staff, to our sales staff. But also one thing that's been a great outshoot, and I know we work with the MCI on this as well, we work with local minority-owned restaurants in Miami Gardens, Liberty City, Opelika, and all throughout the community to help serve those meals as well. So we want to really not only help the community with the meals, but also empower businesses by giving them consistent income, at least for the course of the year, to be able to feed the community as well. So that's been a couple of things that we've been proud of to make our community impact. We understand that we're a steward of the community. It's going to be a long time after we started, a long time after we're here. We're committed to make a difference each and every day.
And Miami Children's Initiative, let me say, is very appreciative of the donations that we receive from the food relief program. I think MCI gets about 100 to 125 meals per week, and they're very helpful for the constituents that they have, in the housing project and in the communities and the families of the students.
Listen, I'm
like Charles Drew.
Listen, so I'm over here fighting with a mic, if you guys can see this, because I'm trying to get on here and join this conversation to say to the Dolphins, thank you. Listen, 350 families are getting fed by us. That equals almost 700 meals a week that we're able every Tuesday and Thursday to give out to those families in Liberty City. So thank you for being a very real partner. It's one thing to say, I'm a partner and help you out, I'm gonna do something, but it's something when you put your effort and it makes a difference, right? When you actually manifest what you're talking. And I want to say to the Dolphins, thank you very, very much for that.
And Jason, I also like to touch on a very special story that I saw about the Dolphins. Can you talk about, I saw that you all donated, was it $100,000 to the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition to help returning citizens be able to vote, pay their fines?
Well, it was very important to our organization, very important to our players. They formed a player impact committee. And with this whole idea of civic engagement, economic empowerment, education, those are three areas that they wanted to put resources and time into use, especially during this election year. And what we learned through Amendment 4, working with Desmond Meade and the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, Reuben Roberts at the Miami-Dade NAACP Circle of Brotherhood, Charles Williams at Generational Cure, looking at these ways to how can we increase voting engagement, increase our community, increase civic engagement. So when we were made aware and we kind of read the stories about some people that had been incarcerated and hadn't been able to vote, we felt it's very important for people to have these rights and be able to exercise their civic, an American right to vote. So we put in money to help, pay for fines and fees, starting in Miami Gardens, Liberty City area. It's something we're looking to expand, but we fundamentally believe that we have a voice, we have an impact, and we don't want to make anyone disenfranchised and have the ability not to vote. We want to do a part that we can to be able to do that as well. So that was working with FRRC, that was working with the Souls to Polls initiatives. We were able to have Arlene's and I crave to be able to work with NAACP and those other organizations to not only provide transportation, but also feed people that may have been in line or feed people that may have not had the opportunities to have that because they wanted to do their duty and vote. We wanted to eliminate all those barriers of opportunity to make sure their voices were heard during this time. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Mr. Hawkins?
Yeah.
We hear you now. We couldn't hear you before.
Oh, okay.
You're muted again.
I don't know.
A little low, Mr. Hawkins. Can you talk a little louder?
All right. Can you hear me, guys? Can you? All right. So he's muted. Let's see how we.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right. Do you hear me?
I do.
Yeah, we hear you pretty. Yeah, we hear you fine. So I guess that's just my cue to jump right in. Then I don't know what happened to Cedric, so that's my way of jumping in. So let me just say this to Jason, and then we'll get right back to you, Roy. This is a season of thanks. I know last night and moving up into what we will finally or come to know who will be the leader of this country. It has distracted us, but COVID has had us in a very interesting place, almost to a place that you don't want to be thankful, but we have to be thankful and take every moment that we have and tell God, thank you. That's just my personal place of faith. And I want to say thank you to the Dolphins again. And you have ready or prepared for this upcoming holiday season, what are some of those efforts that will be happening for the holiday?
Well, especially for Thanksgiving, we're going to have a huge initiative around food relief, working in areas and food insecurity areas, as well. We have a big holiday program we're going to do out of our outdoor theaters. That's one of the interesting things in terms of being with COVID. Our Vice Chairman, Tom Garfinkel, has talked about being innovative, talked about being creative. So we have an outdoor theater that's in place that we use a big screen. So we're going to use that to bring kids and youth in need for the holidays to come in. Have a great meal, get some great toys that are being paid for by our owner, our players, and really kind of bring these organizations in and talk about holiday cheer. So holidays are especially a time of family, a time of being together. We're hopeful that Cedric is going to bring that shirt that he has on with him, to kind of show off everything that he has going on there. But we're super excited to be able to do our part in the community, but also each and every day we can come in and have some fun.
All right. Well, listen, I want you to know that we're looking to do a collaboration. We're working with Together for Children and some others to see how we can do a major event in Liberty City. And so we're going to make sure the Dolphins are plugged in that moment. Okay.
We love to be a part of it. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for everything you're doing in our community, doing in Liberty City. It's amazing. We're here for you, and we definitely want to continue this relationship. Yes, sir.
And I know your hands are beyond Miami children. You're reaching, you're far reaching. And I want to tell you, thank you for what you're doing. So Mr. Jenkins, we're gonna let you, we're gonna put you on ice for a minute, but we're gonna bring you back. Okay. Let me get over here with Mr. Roy Hawkins. Let me bring him right back. Mr. Hawkins, how are you, sir?
I am well. How are you?
Listen, I want you to pop your collar. I need you to proverbially pop your collar. Listen, we had Jason Jenkins. Listen, we had him to pop his collar with us in that. It is just powerful to see African-American men in such powerful positions. And we laud Jason.
Are you there?
Is what and what does that who's Mr. Hawkins and where who your people. That's how my country people from
I
Alabama.
love it. I love it. I love it. Wait, first and foremost, to God be all the glory. All
Yeah.
the glory and honor, right? It is amazing to be on this call with you wonderful people today and be a part of our community. I was very honored to be on the docket with Jason, and I know all the great work that he's doing. I want to take the opportunity to thank both of you for the work that you're doing out in the community. And as far as it goes for me and my role here at Jackson, who am I? I am Roy Hawkins Jr., born right here in Miami-Dade County, a proud graduate of Miami-Carroll City Senior High.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry because you in Bull Nation, sir. You in Bull Nation.
Trust me, I know, but I am a proud and mighty chief. And it's not often that we get an opportunity to truly impact the community in which we grew up. And so for me
I had to bring Jason back. He don't know he in Bull country.
Oh, Jason, you're a bull?
No,
Northwestern High, we pledge our loyalty, thy halls of learning filled with dignity. Wait a minute now.
that's very impressive. I need to talk to my parents because I thought I was born in Houston, Texas. I didn't know I was.
That's what the Bulls do. That they pull anybody they can of substance and stature through their organization, Jason.
What?
So just take that as an honor.
Don't nobody want to be no chief. Anyway,
all day. So, again, it is honored to be here and lead this organization. I actually was born in Jackson Memorial Hospital. So to come back years later and serve as the organization CEO has really been my career honor.
That's a great full circle moment, I must say.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to let you know I share in that moment. I was born at Jackson, but I spent a considerable amount of time in Greenville, Alabama, and so I'm city country. But to attend, I'm city country, yeah. Yeah, I'm Cosmo country, not cosmopolitan. I'm Cosmo country.
I love
it. But I share that to say it is empowering because I was reared in Liberty City. And so to be able to have my headquarter office 2 blocks from where I grew up from is absolutely outstanding and amazing. Wow. And so it is humbling, but yet empowering because it demonstrates that there is a place for us and you have to fight your way through it. It is not true, despite what Mr. Kushner may feel, that Blacks don't necessarily want to move forward. But there are those who have a very real desire to get out the hood. And so it's moments like that you, Jason, and you, Roy, when you're willing to turn around and lift someone up is why we have moments like this in seasons of Thanksgiving to say thank you. Come on, Cedric. I got another good-looking man. I got all these good-looking men. I'm the minority in the group.
Oh my goodness.
Let me let you go ahead and have some conversation.
Mr. Hawkins, I just wanted to ask you: do you feel what kind of responsibility do you feel as a role model? Growing up in your community, traveling all over, working all over, and coming right back to your community full circle, and having such an important position. Do you feel any type of responsibility as a role model to some of the kids who may look up to you, who attend Carroll City and other schools who just may have kind of run across your path and say, "Wow, look at that! I want to be like that."
Allowing Carroll City name to be mentioned on my radio program.
Cedric, I thank you for that question, man. It's back to what was discussed earlier. Being an African American, coming specifically from this community, we all have an incredible responsibility to give back to this community, right? My responsibility is to really reach out to these young men and women who went to any school in Miami-Dade County. I even go talk to those who went to Northwestern sometimes, right? But just for them to see somebody that looks like them in positions of power and authority, and not only able to impact the community, but to reach back and to allow them to shadow me for a day or two, just to see what I do on a day-to-day basis, to open up their eyes and to broaden their horizons on, what career opportunities that exist out there for young men and women, who happen to come from this beautiful place called Miami. So I'm a part of the 5,000 role models. I actually was a member of that organization when it was 500 role models. You know, I participate with the local high schools when it's time to really sit down with these young men and women and talk to them about their grades and what the importance of grades and making good grades and what that does for you from an opportunity to propel your community and your career. And so, yeah, I think there is an awesome responsibility that we all have, and I don't take it lightly.
I don't know. Bring the hotspot.
Well, that's very commendable. And as an organization at Jackson Health System, do they have any type of community initiatives that residents and young men and women can participate in, that can kind of motivate them and just kind of give them some enlightenment, some hope?
You know, first I'll start off with what's core to our mission here at Jackson, and that really is to build the health of the community by providing a single high standard of quality care for the residents of Miami-Dade County, regardless of their ability to pay. And really, what that means is that Jackson will offer world-class care to anyone who walks through our doors. You know, as a nonprofit hospital, we have a facility here, obviously in downtown Miami, which is home to Ryder Trauma and Miami Transplant Institute, Holtz Children's Hospital, and there are new rehab hospital. But we also have locations at Jackson North and Jackson South, and we are in the process of building a new hospital out in Doral at Jackson West. Now, with that also responsibility of providing healthcare services to the men and women of Miami-Dade County, regardless of their ability to pay, we also have partnered with a number of community organizations, again, including the 5,000 role models and other organizations based in historic Overtown and in Liberty City, and would love to be able to partner with other organizations so that we can expose young men and women in our community to hospitals and healthcare systems and expose them to viable career options in hospitals and healthcare systems. And so that's really what's been our focus. I'll tell you another thing that I'm really proud of here is we have the Ryder Trauma Center, which sees a lot of the catastrophic injuries that take place around the community. So oftentimes when young men and women find themselves in positions where they're injured via a violent incident, we have a program here that creates outreach to them to say, hey, if you're into gangs or into violence, there are other options in life, and we want to expose you to what those are. And so we reach out to those young men and women and partner with various organizations to really expose them to other options and other opportunities in life. So I'm really proud of that program.
I'd love to know more about it, and maybe we can somehow involve the students with whom they work with at Charles Drew K-8, as well as Miami Northwestern Senior High School. So we'll definitely have to get some of that information from you to learn more about that program at Jackson Health Systems.
I would love to do that.
Low.
I can't even believe that we're already out of time. But listen, we are absolutely going to celebrate this holiday with such great joy, knowing that we have great people like you, Jason, and Roy at the helm. I just need to just say this, Roy. Is there any specifics that you want to share in closing remarks about any new this wave of COVID? Just quickly, what is your organization doing? And Jason, I passed by and saw in that parking lot just the other day the line wrapped around the stadium there at Hard Rock. Any efforts that are happening with the Dolphins organization? Well, we'll let you close out, and then we'll allow Jason to have the final word.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you this real quickly. What you see at the Hard Rock, what you see at the Miami Marlins Stadium is really a testament of Jackson partnering with a lot of the community hospitals to really put that those tents there for folks to have COVID testing. What we're doing is educating the community. And my parting words over this holiday season for all of our community is to remain focused, remain vigilant, keep your mask on despite what people are saying out there, what some presidential candidates are saying. Please keep your mask on, wash your hand, maintain social distancing, and know that COVID is real. I work in this environment and people are challenged with it and are dying every day from it. So let's just stay vigilant out there and diligent and following the proper protocols. And we continue to do outreach in our primary care clinics to our community to share with them the real dangers of this disease.
Wow. Well, that's a great word, and people definitely need to heed the warnings that COVID-19 is real, despite what other people have been saying. And we want to thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for joining us. I don't know if Mr. Jenkins is still with us.
He's not, but we're going to wrap up. And so we want to thank you, Mr. Hawkins. We're gonna call your people. Have my people call your people so we can get together with all of our people, right?
Even
so
though you're a bull, even though you're a bull, even though you're a bull.
Well, listen, for those of you on WMBM, thank you for being our listening audience and spending this last hour with us. To those of you who've been hanging out with us on Facebook, have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.
Great afternoon and happy holidays.